We're going to switch gears now. As much as I'd like to avoid what happened last night, I really thought the Seahawks were going to win it. I thought, I'm going to look like a prophet, so to speak, but it didn't turn out that way. The interception on the goal line as time was running out. Time to call in one of my old pals, Miranda. I am so pleased to welcome to America's Forum former NFL All-Pro quarterback Neil Lomax. Neil, it's been a long time. It's great to see you Skyping in from Portland. I got to get your take on the game. That last second pass instead of a run. What did you think of it?
Well, obviously no one thinks very well of it because it didn't work. Everybody blames the play call, but you should be blaming the execution. That's why I've been taught for years. But let's start with this, JD. Good to see you, JD. It's been a long time, and let's give credit where credit is due, though. I always thought Joe Montana was the best quarterback I ever played with and against. He was definitely the best quarterback in the 80s, but I think we saw a guy yesterday that now deserves to be in the conversation as to me, probably the best quarterback of all time.
Well, we hear your child agreeing with you in the background. I believe it's your child, right?
My granddaughter.
Well, Grandpa Neil, man, the time has passed. You still look at. Well, here's the deal. Okay, so Tom Brady is now in the record books. Of course,
4 Super Bowls.
Russell Wilson spent 3 of his 4 collegiate years at NC State, so I'm a little bummed out. But, at one point, you really had it going on until you had that hip problem. You're an all-pro quarterback. When you look at Brady, is there anything to the so-called deflate gate, the whole thing about air pressure in the footballs, or will that go away now?
I'm sure it won't go away. I don't know why it's going to take 2 or 3 months to figure out who put a needle in a ball or who told the ball boy to do this. It's like what we just heard from Obama. A lot of politics. There's a lot of politics in the NFL as well. So let's just put that aside and look at performance. And performance to me means it all. And Tom Brady proved to me against probably the best defense in the league. And in the last 2 series. He goes something like, 14 for 16, 2 touchdowns in a period of 6 minutes. And, again, that to me overshadowed the play call at the end, the performance of Tom Brady and what he's able to do with, quite honestly, JD, we're not talking about household names for wide receivers here. We're not talking about, the Dez Bryants and, Beckham and Johnson. We're talking about Edelman and Gronk. And, it's just amazing what Tom and Vereen, his tailback is the #1 receiver, dropping the ball to a tailback half the time. So I'm a little prejudiced, though. Got to love the quarterbacks, but I'm giving a lot of props to Tom Brady.
Neil, if you were talking to the Seahawks coach, all I kept thinking about, I can't imagine how he's feeling this morning. Can you kind of give us an idea of what he must be feeling like this morning, having been so close and making that call? Call?
Well, my kind of question, I was kind of listening to talk radio this morning, did that call go through Pete Carroll? Dean Bevel's the offensive coordinator. He made that call. Did he have to go through, the CEO, the head coach, to approve that play? I don't know. That's the question I want to ask. If that directly came from the offensive coordinator, he's been making 99% of all the play calls during the game, and it came down to that, throwing the ball. You had 1 timeout left. We're all Monday morning quarterbacks now, and what I've learned over the years when I played, and you're gonna be a soldier. You're gonna be a soldier, and you're gonna go ahead and say, hey, don't point the fingers. But what I've learned over the years from high school, college, and the pro, it's execution. It's can you execute the play that they practiced that play. The execution was poor. Butler made a great move on it, cut inside. Russell probably should have had that. Pumped it, not throw the ball, but he just threw it because it worked in practice. Doesn't mean it's going to work in the game.
There's lots more to talk about with you, Neil, specifically life after football and what you're doing these days and how it pertains to your playing days in the NFL. And also when we come back, I'm going to have to ask Neil Lomax. He came out of that, what we used to call the West Coast School. When in doubt, put it up in the air. Would he have thrown the pass or handed it off? I guess you take the orders from the sidelines. More with Neil Lomax as we continue Monday morning quarterbacking here on America's Forum.
They have specific needs that our resources could meet. The power of it is when we do it together.
If there's a way to continue this, I want to be a part of it.
A success story that everybody can look at, how good things can be.
They don't need people judging them. They don't need people pointing fingers. They need people to love them.
Alongside Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth back with you on America's Forum. We just saw portions of a trailer for the documentary film Be Undivided. It chronicles a story of friendship, faith, and football as a church becomes more involved in helping a high school grow.
Yeah, it focuses on how the lowest performing school in the state of Oregon was embraced by the community and the church.
Rejoining us to talk more about the documentary and more about his days in pro football, former NFL All-Pro quarterback Neil Lomax. Neil, you were heavily involved in this film and in the whole experience. Can you tell us about what the situation was at Roosevelt High School?
Well, it wasn't very good. We were challenged by a ministry 7 years ago for just having churches go out and help serve and be a partner with public schools. And South Lake Church decided to take on Roosevelt High School, one of our urban inner city schools in North Portland. And, we don't have the time to tell you how, the culture is out there and the folks living in poverty and the education level and athletically, they were struggling as well. And that's kind of where I came in, JD, is all of a sudden I said, I can go out there and maybe help rake leaves or paint windows or clean windows and paint the building. Why not, help coach their football if they even got a football? I didn't even know if they had a football team. So I just went out there 6 years ago, and they just fired the coach before because they haven't won a game in like 3 years. And they only get about 18, 19 kids that turn out for football. And I met a guy named Christian Swain. And it's been an amazing 6-year run.
What have been some of the success stories?
Well, besides we're getting more wins, if people want to talk about the wins, it's just all the young boys that I have met, all the young boys that we have gone through and not just been in their lives from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock or on Friday nights on game night, guys. It's been being able to take them to our clothes closet and help them get clothes for not themselves or their families, the food pantry that we have, serving their foods, because 99% of these kids are on either price reduced or free lunch programs at the school. So there's so many different ways that, my goal was to come there and try to mentor them and make a difference, to understand and make it clear to them, what is a man? You guys are young boys, but what does it take to be a man in our culture today?
And so mindful of that, with the minute that remains, Neil, is there one instance that brings that home with crystal clarity?
Yeah, it really does, and it's in the movie. Is when I met Jerome my first year. I didn't understand why he was always late to practice. Get a little tailback. And when I found out he had a 2-year-old daughter and he didn't have a car seat, or he couldn't get her on the bus, he couldn't get her to daycare before he even went to school, I was floored. A 16-year-old boy with a 2-year-old daughter. That's where all of a sudden I needed to get dirty. I just didn't want to go out there just for 3 hours. I needed to really find out, how can I really help this young man become a man? And that was an amazing story in itself.
Where can we see the film real quickly?
You can go online to beundivided.com. There are going to be releases coming out tomorrow, but really just go to our webpage, beundivided.com, and you'll find out all about how to download some good app, how to go ahead and get the DVD, how to get the pastor's kit. There's been amazing things at our church, the partnership with the schools. All the information is there available for you.
Neil Lomax, it's been a long time, but I'll tell you, pal, I really appreciate your perspective, practicing what you preach and being able to preach through practice, because actions speak louder than words. Be Undivided, the name of the documentary, beundivided.com. You see the website right there, and again, our thanks to Neil Lomax. Well, that is going to do it for us, but we should point out that next up, a guy feeling very good today.
Oh, yeah.
Ed Berliner,
There's the evil laugh
laughing not unlike the Joker of Batman fame, but all kidding and joking aside, Ed Berliner, proud of the Patriots, will be here with Midpoint at high noon. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 in the east, 6 in the west. Yeah. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned, and thanks for watching.